Welcome to Season, a letter to the future, which is available for around 2 weeks for PS5, PS4 and PC. We're playing the PS5 version thanks to the developer Scavenger Studios for providing us with the code, or Scavenger Studio rather. It's their second project as far as I'm aware of. They did the Battle Royale Darwin project first. And this is quite different. It was announced at the Game Awards 2020, I think, and in June last year at a State of Play on of PlayStation, we got a new trailer. Very ominous trailers, but I got to play it for a couple of hours, and it's pretty interesting. But of course, we will start from the beginning. Yeah, that's not the beginning. That's actually where I left off, but we actually want to go to the start of the game, of course. So apparently you only have one save game. You have to delete your save data to make a new run. That's not the best. That's not ideal. But I guess the game is only around 5 to 7 hours from what I've heard. So that's fine. I guess I'll delete my save data and my precious photos that I took.
Who are you? I don't know, but I'm writing to you anyway. Where are you? How far in the future? Where'd you find my journal? I may never know, but you can know me from what I put down on these pages. I come from a little village in the mountains. No one has left here since before I was born. But our lives changed overnight. Just a few days ago when my best friend had a prophetic dream. A vision that the elder said means this season is going to end soon. The world is about to enter a new era. A great change is coming. Everyone was afraid. I was surrounded by questions and I began to feel how little I know. What is this season that is about to end, and why is it ending? What exactly is out there that could turn the world inside out? If there are still voices singing and laughing in the wilderness, I could record them before they're gone. I also thought of my dad, who always wanted to see the outside world but never did. So, I asked if I could leave. The elder had one condition for letting me go. That I take what I collect to the museum vault, a palace of art and memory at the edge of the earth. She says it's the only place safe from the turmoil of a changing season. I hope that's where you're reading this now. I can't stop the change that is coming, but this time on Earth could live on in these pages. What it looks like, sounds like, how it feels to be alive right now. I'm writing to you at the crack of dawn on the morning I leave home. I can smell breakfast cooking in the other room, and I can hear my mom's voice.
Yeah, and that's when we actually get to play. So this game is sort of like a narrative adventure. We can check out a lot of items and have some important decisions during dialogue later on.
3, 2, 1. Hooray! Mr. Lotto's here.
It's still louder. Yeah, as you can already tell, the environment is very full of details. And these items will become more important during the conversation with our mom in just a moment. So it might not be the worst idea to actually look around and see what you actually have. Of course, we don't need to interact with everything.
My bag and Dad's camera, ready for the great departure.
Those are kind of important for our journey.
You're up. It's gonna be a beautiful morning. I'm making progress. I found the burner, camera, recorder, travel bag. Breakfast is in progress. Still gotta make a pendant. We haven't used this in so long. Good thing I saved the instructions. Just as you would use a shield to protect your body, an identity pendant protects your mind, your thoughts, memories, everything that makes you, you. We don't wear them here in the village anymore, but if you're going into the outside world, I'll feel better when you've got a pendant shielding you. Diseases of the mind, like the dream sickness.
It's interesting that the main character isn't voiced. I do like the voice, the synchronization of the voices of the other characters throughout the game. And also the distinct look of the visuals. Tell us more about the dream sickness.
We don't know what caused it. We heard people suddenly fell into an eternal sleep. These were years of wild rumors, and half of them turned out to be true. In times of war, a pendant can be used to identify a body. Let's skip that part. Objects have two layers, the physical and the mental. The pendant needs to absorb both. 1. Collect a sentimental object for each sense: sound, smell, feel, sight, taste.
So that's our first objective. As I just said, each object that we encountered actually has a purpose and would change the course of the game here. I don't know how important those decisions are, but you probably need to have more runs to be able to judge that.
2. Feel the sense and speak aloud a memory of the object. 3. Feed the object into the burner. The memory will leave the speaker as it is transferred to the pendant. That means I'll forget the memory after I say it. It's supposed to be painless. At least. No, you must remember everything. That's your role. The pendant needs this little sacrifice. I want to be sure it works. Don't be afraid. A few memories is a small price to pay for knowing you'll be safe.
It's an interesting concept that you lose your memories, but the pendant keeps you safe. So you kind of have to make a compromise which memories you want to keep and which you can spare.
Okay, so this old tape should work for our sense of sound. I remember you and I fell asleep listening to this tape. Your dad came home. We all rested together until it got dark. What an odd feeling. Like an absence, disappearing. The empty space fills itself back in until I forget that I forgot anything at all. I'm glad I'm only losing a few memories. If I lost too many, I wouldn't even know who you are. You should pick the rest of the objects. I'll lose the memories, but you'll have them in the pendant forever.
Oh wait, she is losing the memories, but we're keeping them independent, so we actually keep them, I suppose.
So they should be important to you. They should be parts of your identity you want to be sure to protect. So think about what these items and what the memories would preserve about you. Let's do smell next. Find an object with a strong odor and that holds a piece of you.
Yeah, the camera actually gave us a glimpse of what we could pick. Could use the flowers here, of course, for the odor.
Ancient, perfume, sweet. Nothing is ever lost.
It's interesting that it only describes the object, but not the memory. We will only find out about the memory once we talk to Mom again. So we could put it back and try the candies.
Sweet, wax, honey. How I've tried to save things. Honey, wax, baby, waves. I was loved by people I have no memory of.
Okay, it does give some idea of the memory. Doesn't sound bad. Well, what does an origami smell like?
Nothing.
Right?
I take care of fragile things.
So you can't use any object for any sort of sense? We'll either use the candle or the
Glue,
flowers.
acid, dust, pulp. How I always wanted to meet these strangers.
I suppose the candle seems like a fond memory of her. No, that's not it. And if you missed the description, you can actually rewind it here with remember again. Let's select it. We have a few more to go.
What did you choose for smell? Let's breathe in deep. This kind of candle keeps someone alive for the time it takes to burn, just a few hours when death is nearby. It can be enough for last rites, last words. This was Grandma's candle. She didn't want to use it. You spent a lot of time with her when you were a baby. I realized she wouldn't live long enough for you to remember her, or for her to see you grow up and discover what kind of person you'd be. So in a way, you don't know her, and she didn't know you. And yet, She loved you. I don't know where love goes, but it belongs to you anyway. Now touch. Pick something with a texture you like.
My hand in my own hand. This speaks to how my mom loves me.
That's an interesting idea. Let's do that.
So what did you end up choosing? Okay, put your hand in the hand. Oh, I remember it so well. It's not as bad now, but in the old days, not many children live long enough to grow up. We believed if a child could make it to the age of 9, they'd be all right. This print was made of your hand when you turned 9. Your father and I couldn't believe we really had a healthy girl. An old deep fear inside of me finally went away, and we saw you would just keep growing and growing, that everything was going to be okay. I'm fine. Let's do sight next. Pick something that looks nice.
Got some pictures in the other room.
Mom and Dad before I was born. I was born in the glow of my parents' love.
Of course, that means mom
So,
will lose
what
that
did you end
memory.
up choosing? I remember. This was the night I told your dad I was pregnant with you. There was a party in the plaza. I didn't have anything to drink, just water. He didn't wonder why. At the end of the night, I told him I was pregnant, and he was so happy and so surprised that he threw up. For taste, we can eat breakfast and feed some to the burner.
So I don't get to pick?
The memory I'll lose is the one we're forming right now. I want you to have it forever. Standing here, you're having a last taste of home.
Didn't seem to taste too well if she just pours it in there.
Now you're protected by lost memories. A gem of home around your neck. This is my only condition for letting you go. You must promise me never to take the pendant off.
And now we have to pick. If we promise that, or if
Never tamper with it.
we just try our best, right? Yeah, yes, of course, or I'll try not to. The latter is probably more honest. Who knows what we will, what the choices will be for giving up the pendant later on. But I would say yes, of course.
Okay? Then I'm okay with you leaving. I think your camera and bag are still in your room. It's time to gather them up.
I was confused because the camera is rotating for no reason. Yeah, we could still check out the house, but I guess we've seen most of it. Can just leave.
I've lost so much. How could the world ask me to lose you too? Look at us. There we are. There we were. We'll always be right here on this beautiful morning.
I just performed a ritual with my mom. The moment has passed, but I'll record it in these pages for you, for the future.
Oh, I suppose the protagonist is actually voiced. At least in the journal section. There we have our keepsakes. How do I close this? Oh god, I'm stuck. This is odd. This hasn't happened in the first run, but I guess I need to restart the game.
I just performed a ritual with my mom. The moment has passed, but I'll record it in these pages for you, for the future.
Oh, it wants me to put the pictures we have taken here in the journal, which is a nice detail. Can actually scale them and rotate them, put them wherever we want.
I never knew when my mom would share a memory of Dad while cooking, on a walk, with no warning. It knocked the wind out of me. Rituals take this grief and give it a shape and a story. Filling in this journal is a ritual too, but for a loss that hasn't hit us yet. I've brought tools to record the sights and sounds of this season. I'll start by recording the only place I've ever known. Public sleep music is a tradition of ours here. When the music ends, the village will begin to wake up. You have plenty of fresh water here. I wonder if it's more scarce in the outside world.
It's a matter of taste if you like the black bars around the screen. It certainly gives it a cinematic feel, but I actually wouldn't need it. I would like to see more of the screen.
Last night there was a goodbye party here in the plaza. Everyone was so afraid for me. To understand that fear, to understand where I grew up, you have to know the man standing watch over the plaza. Last night, my friends wrote down their hopes for my trip and tied them to the branches of this tree.
Wait, how do I pull up the camera? Oh, square. So it wants me to... How do I zoom? Oh, R1. Oh, that's not a really good zoom. Maybe we will unlock better camera gear.
This is Dr. Fumio and his son. The statue isn't as old as it looks. The artist wore it down to give it a feeling of ancientness and the authority that comes with it. Dr. Fumio and his son founded Cairo back in 776. They live on through our traditions. There are 3 murals celebrating Dr. Fumio's work.
So yeah, there's a lot to explore here actually, and some optional objectives as well. You can change the pace with R1, very useful. And now we should find the murals.
Remembering everything must be painful. Dr. Fumio brought peace to so many people here.
Since I already played the opening minutes, I already know where the murals are. I haven't found out what that bell chiming sound actually is. I think it comes from the tree, but yeah, I haven't been able to locate what is actually causing that.
Dr. Fumio said the dream sickness was caused by something very powerful. He wasn't able to cure it.
Wrong button.
Cairo Village is nice if you're a child or an old person. But for those of us in between, I need to leave.
So it definitely comes from the tree.
These birds migrate, but we don't know where they come from or where they're going.
But she's talking about the birds.
Smells like an old man's toes dipped in cinnamon.
My favorite smell.
Potion last night. Like my pendant, it's supposed to protect my brain.
Inspiration available, so let's put those in there.
A village that was created as a place to heal. Is that where my instinct to try to help comes from? It's so strange to imagine I'll be shaped by places and people I haven't met yet. So strange to imagine that I might feel at home somewhere else. Pate loves fish, even though nobody here has ever seen one.
Like that it's so easy to pick up and play, even with all the camera options, filters, and focus. Really easy to use.
The elder sought out Dr. Fumio to cure her mother, who was suffering from time misperception. There's something eerie about an instrument that plays itself. But wind chimes aren't eerie. I think the self-playing instrument needs to imply the presence of a person who isn't there, like this one does, to be properly eerie.
Okay, we can only use certain pictures that the game picks for this Who Was Dr. Fumio section. But actually I do have a picture of that instrument, but yeah, it actually says we don't need a picture, we need an audio recording. I guess that's what the cassette icon should imply. So let's use the audio recorder.
This is a healing instrument created by Dr. Fumio. It draws on the pure mountain air.
So let's put in the murals as well.
Dr. Fumio was an important person, but we also just have a need to put a human face on events that are beyond our control. He may have felt just as scared and helpless as everyone else.
Yeah, we can still modify this, but since we already unlocked the inspiration, there's not going to change too much here on that journal page. So let's move on. I haven't seen too much from this. Oh, is there something here? You really have to explore every corner in this game, imagine.
I go fishing here with my best friend Pate, even though there's nothing to catch. We both appreciate the silence.
Yeah, we haven't picked up any filters, so I guess we will unlock them throughout the game.
The ruins in the distance were used to make us afraid of the outside world. Dangerous and impossible to reach, they said. Caro Village was founded during the modernity. Much later, Dr. Fumio arrived and remade it in his image. This flower means you're in my thoughts. The morning after the search was called off for Dad, our doorstep was covered in them.
I like that the monologue still keeps going, even if we take pictures or anything, but the subtitles disappear. That's just a tiny detail they could fix. And that was the first area, Kuru Village. Let's see what we find down here.
A trip just as slow, reliable, and oddly satisfying as life itself in this little village.
Well, the textures of these vases are not the best, the sharpest, so it's difficult to find the right focus. Not the best picture. But I suppose that's it for the first area, and that's actually when I stopped playing, as you just saw initially, when I loaded my save game.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay. How to leave home for my daughter. Find a sacred square of earth. Lay down so you have the dirt at your back. Close your eyes. Close everything. Do you see for yourself? You see for the dead, for the unborn. Do you listen for yourself? You listen for the dead, for the unborn. Your ancestors are in that dirt. All the living and all the dead are holding you up. Now, stand. They're still there, aren't they? It's time to move, to entangle yourself everywhere with everyone. So the next time you lay down in the dirt, you will have so much more to tell them.
These bikes were used by messengers a long, long time ago. Tate fixed up 3 bikes instead of 1.
Oh, which one to pick? Let's go with blue. So the game is actually using the haptic triggers of the DualSense controller. There we have the title screen. Can I use the camera? No. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, so you can park your bicycle at any time, take a picture, take an audio recording. That's pretty neat. The path out of Carol. Nice. I guess we can put that in our journal, right? What is going on? What is that? Oh god, we're inside the face. That's not a page. That looks really odd. Let's do it some other time, I guess. So yeah, I saw in the trailers there was a brief moment where she was on a bicycle, but I didn't know that was the main means of transportation. That's pretty neat. But I suppose we're at the end of the bicycle section here. So you can sketch what you see, kind of like in Life is Strange 2, I think.
Traders used to come to the outskirts of the village. The war put an end to this. Before setting up in Cairo village, Dr. Funyo roamed the land curing people. It must have been hard when he wasn't around anymore, especially for people who couldn't travel to the village.
Didn't mean to do that, but maybe we can take a picture.
From the village, these cranes look like little creatures, grazing. I had no idea how huge they are. poor baby.
Inspiration available. Okay, let's put the things together.
I feel nourished in these sights by the unfamiliarity of it all. These means of connection, long in disuse, are certainly telling me something about the world. Will they be used again in the next season? Most of what I've seen from the outside world probably arrived in a cart like this. I can see in these letters that the outside world has extremes, with beauty and tragedy beyond anything I've known.
I can see why this game has to subtitle a letter to the future. There are a lot of letters to be read, but of course that's all optional and actually giving you a glimpse of what has actually happened here.
The season before this one, the war, seems so horrible.
I guess we can just move on to the cranes. I really like the use of the haptic feedback of the triggers, or how you call it. The triggers that give some sort of like pedals. They feel like pedals if you start using them, if you start cycling. Give some sort of pressure, but then it gets easier as you accelerate. I really like that there is no loading time while we explore this rich game world. Seems to be especially challenging developing this for PS4 and PS5. But so far I wouldn't notice that it is a last gen game.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I suppose there is not a line of dialogue behind any motive, but maybe that goat will help us progress.
We learned about old technology in school, but not much about animals. My first time petting an animal. I think it went pretty well.
Is this game actually the origin story of Goat Simulator? The world fell apart and then the goats took over? I think it's a theory worth exploring further.
That time it felt off. I guess I had beginner's luck before?
Sadly, it's not like in Yakuza Like a Dragon that the animals pose for you for the camera. So many different goats. No, I wanted to take a picture. That will happen a lot.
Okay, now I got it back. I'm in control. I can easily pet certain four-legged animals.
Certain four-legged or animals. If only we knew how they're called. So my tip for you, don't forget your bike there. Even though it's a nice environment to explore again. Now we should be able to jump on it. Nice. So unfortunately, we're getting to the end of this season. I will definitely play this more.
I cycled through landscapes, seeing them for the first and last time. I had no idea when I left my home how the season would end, or more importantly, how soon.
That's perfect timing. And yeah, if you get the game on PC, PS4, or PS5, you will know how this goes on, how this journey of her continues. Like I said, I will definitely continue this, and you will read more about it on our website. So thanks again to the publisher for providing us with the game, and let us know about your opinion on the game in the comments below.